So good evening. We're going to get started. Go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat if you'd like. Welcome to the TEYA Book Club series for Representation Matters, meeting number 3. And this is for What the Fireflies Knew by Kai Harris. So welcome, everyone. Land acknowledgement. I'll read this. Our anti-racist journey begins with the acknowledgement that we, as settlers and displanted people, reside on the unceded sacred land of Native American people. We are aware that the U.S. began with the conquest and genocide of indigenous people and grew its wealth from enslaved Africans' forced labor. We in San Jose offer a land acknowledgement to the ancestors and the descendants of this land who are now members of reorganized tribes and groups, including the Tamian tribe, Muwekma Ohlone tribe, Confederated Villages of Lisjan, Himren Ohlone, Bay Miwok, Plains Miwok, Amamutsun tribal band, and Indian Canyon Nation. They have inhabited and stewarded the unceded lands of the San Francisco Bay Area for thousands of years. We have much to learn from Indigenous people, including the deep cultural and spiritual respect they demonstrate for our natural world. Wherever you are, we can all pause to acknowledge that the native people whose land we are on. Remember that the next step after acknowledging these communities is to learn more, particularly about how you can support them directly. And may we all learn to walk in a humble and honorable way by acknowledging Indigenous knowledge systems that lead to more sustainable and relational futures. So if you haven't yet, please put your name in the chat. I think the question we asked last time was, what's something that's been on your mind lately? You can add that in as well. But I'm just going to say, how are you feeling today? And for me, I'm feeling pretty excited. It was a great day at my school for Black History Month. We had a panel with engineers from Johnson & Johnson. And just as an added note, tomorrow's my birthday. And for those of you who have the week off next week, we at my school, we do as well. So I'm excited for that in the weekend. So an example of how to introduce yourself, your name, pronouns, where you're zooming in from, what's your role. So you can say teacher or community member or student, parent, and how are you feeling today? So I'll give people a couple minutes to do that. Okay, thank you, James, for sharing. Thank you, Misa and Adriana. Thank you for joining. I see Miss Sinks here as well. Wonderful, Elizabeth. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad everybody had a great day. Thanks, Miss Sink. All right. If you're not feeling too good, hopefully this conversation with everybody today will keep you a little bit engaged. So we're going to have small group discussion and then whole group, just like we did last time. The community agreements, share the lesson, not the details. So if you hear something from somebody and you want to share that after leaving the space, explain what you learned, not the details of what somebody else told you. Just for confidentiality. Speak up for yourself if you think something is important and you want to share. Equity of voice, so if you think you're talking too much, please pause sacred space for vulnerability, especially in those breakout rooms. Please empathize with others, put yourself in their shoes, step up, step back if you think, and allow others to share. If you're in the chat too much, maybe take a moment of pause. If you haven't said anything, please use the mic or the chat to do so. And practice humility. We all have something to learn from each other. So please look for that when people are sharing, or when you're sharing, you might want to share some piece of advice or something for people to know and to walk with after they leave the space. All right, so we're going to get to our breakout room discussions. I'm going to stop share and stop the live stream, and then we'll get into our breakout rooms. So give me just a moment. I see everyone's faces now. This is